Howdy, all you delicious people. Season 3, Episode 9 of The Masked Singer review. It kind of gets down to the point, I think, now when you tend to have absolutely no clue who any of these people are in Group C. So, my guessing has kind of gone towards Google searching. Just Google sifting, searching, looking, loving, touching, pleasing. Another. So we go through and we kind of empty our heads and just go, you know what? My guesses are probably way effing off at this effing point. So we go search it on the Google and we make assumptions. So we're going to Google our way to hopefully find out who these people are by the end of this episode. So, reasonably, let's get on with our guessing. First off, I honestly think that the astronaut could honestly be Hunter Hayes, which again, I've kind of heard some songs here and there of Hunter Hayes, but in the days of my life, I've never really have been an avid fan of Hunter Hayes, to be brutally honest, but he sounds pretty good. If this actually is Hunter Hayes. Evidently, Hunter Hayes, or the astronaut, sang Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, which actually was a pretty good performance. But I'm also honestly thinking that the astronaut honestly could be Kim Jong right now. Who knows? Who knows? So that's what I'm guessing. It's either Hunter Hayes or Kim Jong. That's what I'm guessing. So, the T-Rex had evidently gone home tonight. In this episode, you're going to know who the T-Rex is by the end of this episode. I really, for the longest time, thought it was Julian Huff. But for every single one of these anonymous judges that were coming on tonight and saying Jojo Siwa, I've never heard of this person in my life. But I ultimately was just like, well, the judges seem to just be like going with this Jojo Siwa person. Evidently, they must know something I don't. So, sure, maybe it's that person. So, that was a guess going into that. So, here are my other two guesses of the other people left. So, there was a clue that evidently Jenny McCarthy tends to go on a talk show or some kind of show somewhere and blab about things. So, when you tend to just kind of go through a YouTube search of Jenny McCarthy doing any kind of talk show, not an interview, a talk show, there isn't a lot of huge amount of searching going on, thankfully for me. It looks like Jenny McCarthy tends to talk about the Real Housewives. I have kind of seen some Real Housewives shows because I have no life. I've kind of seen like the Real Housewives of Orange County. I've seen that show. So reasonably in my mind, I was like, well, let's Google search and find out if there's any Real Housewives that sing. And luckily for me, there was a very limited amount of search engines for that. And eventually you kind of go back and forth to listen to this person and any of the housewives. And boom goes the dynamite. We have Kandi Burruss. Kandi Burruss? Evidently, you can probably realize by me struggling to pronounce this name that I don't watch Real Housewives all the time, but evidently this person was from Real Housewives Atlanta? Sure. So, yeah, again, I've probably watched Real Housewives every once in a while, but I also have a life. So, I don't really go out of my way to watch much reality shows because I don't have that boring of a life to watch reality TV anymore. I I would rather have something better to do than watch reality TV. But anyways, I guess you can call The Masked Singer a reality TV show, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. So yeah, Kandi Burruss. Sure. As long as I'm still going with Taylor Dane and one of the Dixie Chicks, sure, that's my guess. For the Night Angel, the Dark Angel, the Dark Night Angel, the angel purpley faced, whatever the heck person name angel that she's supposed to be, I never remember because it's a goofy name. So let's move on to the last pick. Rhino. I would tend to say Tim McGraw or Jason Aldean. But you know what? I've just kind of searched every baseball player and athlete within the world just to see if they tend to sing every once in a while. And you know what? Baron Zito came up. You know what? When you tend to just kind of go through Google looking for photos of the Masked Singer, Rhino, and guessing starts to come up, Barry Zito evidently came up, and ultimately I have seen the San Francisco Giants play baseball, but I don't know Barry Zito or Zito, as I'm mispronouncing his name quite frequently now, as even the words are still there, the lettering is there. So recently I had watched, because there's things out there of Barry Zito doing performances. Evidently, he tends to sing a lot. So Barry Zito could ultimately be the Rhino at the end of the day. He kind of does very much sound like a very much Tim McGraw like person, so who knows? At the end of the day, Barry could be the Rhino. So I don't think anybody is going to think that Barry Zito is the Rhino unless you're an actual San Francisco Giants fan. Because life. Because none of these clues are helpful at freaking all. I don't know how anybody comes up with guessing of anything for any of Group C, because it seems to be impossible to guess who these people are. You would have to be an avid fan of any of these people to guess who any of them are. It's ridiculous. Kind of like this entire show, you would have to really scrape through every little thing that these people say, or have some kind of device that you can kind of skew their voices to really hear what they sound like. It's ridiculous. So, those are who I ultimately think are the people underneath these masks. Whether I am futurely right and or wrong, hoping that my next leap is the leap out of this video. So, now I think is the time where ultimately our guesses are out of the way. So now we can say that it's about that time again to unmask who the T-Rex was. Just because after that, we're also going to do a seasonal recapping of how I'm feeling about this season. So, now is about that time again to unmask this person, to reveal who the deal was of this person. Now, we are going to unmask who the T-Rex was. Right now. So, the T-Rex was Jojo Siwa. And I am thinking, I don't know this person. Evidently, she's a dancer, singer, and YouTube personality. I am on YouTube, but I don't watch every YouTuber that is on YouTube. I do not watch Jojo Siwa. She, I think, is probably having something to do with probably maybe like a very Disney like YouTubing personality. because ultimately every time that I've kind of seen her do something through Google, because I had to Google this person after the fact, because I still don't know who this person is. She does Nickelodeon stuff, I guess, and she's always like involved in some kind of like kid content stuff. Great. I don't know who this is. Still, I don't know who this is. Just, I don't know who this is. Um, I don't. Yeah, sure. But ultimately, I probably just. I guess I could count this as a win, but I honestly do not want to. Like, I still think my season right now is still looking in pretty good gosh darn shape. Because ultimately, looking at it, I can break it down and just be like, well, yeah, I think my guesses have really narrowed and really gone through and said, yeah, I'm right on a lot of things, much more so than wrong. So if this is a loss, really, to me, because luckily I went with the judge's decision, I'm fine with that. So I think now is the time to do a seasonal wrap. Cause I'm gonna drop the mic after this and walk away, just all salty and all sweet and delicious and utter nutritious and yeah. So I think I'm gonna give a double five count because we're gonna give a seasonal recap. Ultimately, by pretty much what I said, that kind of felt like a seasonal recapping. So now, if you guys don't want to know who got fully unmasked through this entire season, now is the time to grind your way out of here. But if you want to hear what all I have to say for the end of the day, then let's go on. So, reasonably right now, I'm still looking pretty good. I have way more correct than I do incorrect. So, I'm a pretty good betting man that ultimately I will win my way through this season. Um, I don't know. I think my guesses are pretty solid. Solid as a rock. So yeah. Ultimately, the Night Dark Angel dancing straight away in the foyer is just one thing that at the end of the day there might be some characters that I could get incorrect because you can't know everything about everyone in your life. Basically, the clues really come down to if people have seen every single photo of a person in their lives. Like, it comes down to, hey, if you just so happen to randomly been following this person and know about this photo that exists somewhere, then God, will you just be in the good graces of just winning this season? But yeah, I'm just like, I don't have this kind of pop culture knowledge anymore. I think it's going to get down in the later seasons to being much more younger and fresher stars that there is no way for anybody to know who any of these people are. Um and the guesses are just going to be like, yeah, the guessing was that I farted once. That's going to be the clue. I farted once. Wow, that really is just those clues make sense. Those clues make so much sense. God, I'm just so annoyed by these clues. You would have to like read somebody's encyclopedia book to know who these people are, and I don't think I can take 18 people and read 200 and biographies of every celebrity in the world to figure out who these people are. Like, oh yeah, if you just go and you watch every single baseball team, every single football team, and then on top of that, you watch every person that has ever sing a song in their life, and then you watch every single movie and TV show in the world, then man, are you gonna crack this case? Man, are you just gonna bang a rang all the way through this? Just what a breeze you'll have. I think that's why probably YouTubers are probably going to be the best at guessing who these people are because you have a whole entire huge fan base that knows all random stuff about anything that you do not know. So, if you have any better guessing of any of these other people that have not been unmasked yet, or maybe even the people that have gotten masked or have gotten unmasked, you're like, yeah, Drew Carey, yeah, that guy. Figured the clues out now. It's just because you might be slow on the go through. I don't know. But let me know if you have better guesses on any of these people, or maybe my guesses are more realistic than any of the things that I've said before in previous videos. So, you know what? I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.